Since ancient times, knowledge and education have been the treasure of society. Those who acquired them had the opportunity for social mobility, broadening their horizons, and access to advanced technologies. Discoveries and inventions became the pride of states, a cause of rivalry, secrets, and intrigues. Science reflected people's ideas about the future, their hopes, and their dreams. Like any treasure, education and knowledge could not be available to all people equally, and therefore mysteries and strivings to acquire them became more and more. The advancement of science was followed by the development of a space for acquiring and systematizing knowledge. At the same time, society formed different ideas about the nature and purpose of science, its social function, and its place among other institutions. With the change of these concepts, the architecture of science evolved and the faces of cities were transformed. After all, it is architecture that has a unique opportunity to accumulate specific features of the way of life of society and its worldviews. It is not surprising that nowadays the story of the hunt for the treasure of knowledge can be read in the architecture of Moscow of quite different epochs. Despite the diverse history of the architecture of science in Moscow, currently there are very few analytical sources on urban planning and architecture of this city regarding knowledge institutions, especially in English. How has science been represented in the city in different periods of its history? Where can the traces of the treasure trove be found in the city today? And where to look for the treasures of the future? I was born and raised in Moscow, and in order to find the answers to these questions, I traveled around the city and met architects and researchers who work on the architecture of knowledge. Moreover, to sort out the diversity of treasuries in Moscow, I made a timeline. And to understand how to interpret this timeline, I talked with Galina Kulishova, the architect and urban planner who does the research about socio-cultural models of the architecture of knowledge. Furthermore, to understand the current trends in the architecture of knowledge in Moscow, I met the practicing architects, Елена Miznikova, the head of the project of the new complex of the Bauman Moscow State Technical University, and Nikita Asadov, who is doing the project of the new campus of the Moscow State University. According to the architect and researcher Galina Kulishova, there are three main categories of socio-cultural representations of science. This categorization will be used as an element of the research framework. The circular monastery. It is a model that gives a preference in its architectural organization to the environment for fruitful reflection. The Palace of Science, also known as representative model. It is a socio-cultural model reflecting the processes of integration of science and society, the interrelation of science, production, culture, politics, and other aspects of public life. The Knowledge Factory. It is a model that embodies a high level of technical equipment of science.